He's a New York Times bestselling author for over a decade. He was the senior staff writer for WorldNet Daily. His latest book, Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of the Mueller Witch Hunt. Mr. Corsi, welcome to the Chris Salcedo Show.
Chris, great to be with you. Thank you very much.
Let me just ask you to just detail for the folks, because you have a unique story to tell here. You have been through, literally been through the ringer. I can't even fathom how, what you've been through, and depart on your story from what Corey Lewandowski said about you on Fox News. He said you were asked to lie. Go from there.
Well, that's right. I mean, I was subpoenaed on August 28th, 7 months ago, by two FBI officers who showed up at our door at our house unannounced and gave us a subpoena to go to Mueller's grand jury. It began there. And the part where Corey Lewandowski is talking about is that I went in to cooperate. We gave the FBI and the special prosecutor my computers, my backup devices, my cell phones, my email accounts. I thought I was going to be able to work with the Mueller prosecutors, but they play this memory trap game, and immediately they catch you forgetting emails from 3 years ago or forgetting a telephone conversation. So it all blew up because I could not give a source. I couldn't give someone I could I did not know Julian Assange. I didn't introduce Roger Stone to Julian Assange, and the prosecutors were convinced I did. So they wanted to put me in prison, and they said I lied, and they offered me a whole script. You know, this count where I was supposed to plead guilty was really a memory error, the first day's testimony that I'd amended. Well, I refused to do that. I said, take a hike. I'm not going to stand in front of a federal judge before God and lie and read your lying script, commit perjury, just to keep myself out of prison. They said if I didn't plead that deal, they were going to prosecute me for multiple counts. I would be in prison, a jury in Washington, they'd make sure would convict me, and then I would be in prison for 25 years. I'm 72 years old. I said, if American justice has gotten to this low point where I have to lie and read your script, Robert Mueller, in order to stay out of prison, then just go ahead and put me in prison.
You know, do me a favor, because there's another high-profile story going on right now. Contrast what you went through with Jussie Smollett. Here's Jussie Smollett, who is guilty, and he's walking free. You were innocent, and you were being told to lie to keep yourself out of jail. Isn't this what we get when we put Democrats in charge of anything?
Well, it's the Democrats have corrupted and made politicized the justice system. You know, Hillary Clinton gets to walk. Well, I'm a writer. The prosecutors made it clear they hated my books, going back to Unfit for Command, the Swippo book, 2004, which I co-authored with John O'Neill.
Yep,
my Abomination book, 2008, the work I did on the birth certificate. They hate all this, and they wanted to silence me and put me into prison. Jussie Smollett, has danced with Michelle Obama and has close friends with the Obamas, so he gets to walk, even though he, I think, obviously committed the crime.
Yeah, let me pivot from there, because we have allegedly a two-party system in this country where people like you and me have people representing us as well, allegedly. But it seems that all of this malfeasance, this double standard, this what I call liberal privilege, is going unopposed by the alleged opposition party, which is supposed to be the party which is supposed to stand up for the rule of law and the Constitution of the United States, the Republicans. Did you feel abandoned by the Republican Party throughout this entire process?
Well, I'm not a Republican. I belong to the Constitution Party. I've never been a fan of the establishment GOP, which I think are just Democrat light and really don't take the Constitution seriously. I mean, I was worried about my own case, and was my partner in this was really my wife. She woke up in the middle of trying to decide whether we should accept this plea deal, and they were saying you'll never go to prison if you just take this deal and say you committed these crimes. They knew I didn't commit the crimes. They didn't indict me. My wife woke up and she said, I'd rather visit you for the rest of your life in prison than have you not be the man I married.
Wow.
And when she said that, I said, well, Monica, that settles it. I said, I'm going to tell the prosecutors, this was right after Thanksgiving in November, that I'm not going to take their deal. They can take a hike.
I can see you're getting emotional just by recalling that story.
It's a very emotional story for me because, it was really our faith and our closeness. I've been married to Monica for 28 years, and I'm a very fortunate man. I hope I'm 72 years old. I regret I won't have another 28 years with her.
Well, Mr. Corsi, by the way, Jerome Corsi is our guest right now, ladies and gentlemen. The book, Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. You could have just as easily thrown the president, as so many people have done, thrown the president under the bus to save your own skin. Aside from your wife's prompting, and what made you take a stand facing almost overwhelming and certain jail time from a corrupt process that Mueller was in charge of?
Well, the Mueller prosecutors made it clear to me they had a narrative, and they were determined to prove that I did contact Julian Assange. In July and August 2016, my wife and I took a vacation to Italy with the family. It was our 25th wedding anniversary, and I figured out on my own that Julian Assange and WikiLeaks had John Podesta's emails, the chairman of Hillary Clinton's campaign at that time, and Assange was going to release them in October as the October surprise. I told Roger Stone, told many people. Of course, the FBI had all my phone calls and all my emails, and so they were convinced I had to have contact with Assange, and this would be the linchpin in their case against President Trump, because they would say I connected Roger Stone to Julian Assange, which I did not do, and that permitted Roger to tell Julian Assange to collude or coordinate when these emails would get dropped to the maximum harm of Hillary. Well, that never happened.
Wow.
And so they wanted to put me in prison because they wanted to break me. They were doing everything they could to break me. That's why I wrote Silent No More. So you can read this book and understand the psychological duress I was put under. I wouldn't lie to keep myself out of prison, and I wouldn't lie to throw Donald Trump under the bus in order to save myself. I wouldn't lie.
And you wouldn't lie.
I've done nothing wrong.
I think it is important to point out you wouldn't lie to harm your president.
No, I wouldn't lie to harm
Donald Trump. I don't know of how many Democrats would do the same. Let me ask you, because I only got a short amount of time left. We put up a petition on the Chris Salcedo Show Facebook page prompting the Republican Party not to abandon holding Democrats accountable for what they've done here, what they've done to you and what they've done to the country. What is your feeling on accountability for Obama-era government, for the DOJ, for the FBI, for, I believe, elected Democrats' culpability in what you had to endure and what so many other people had to endure?
Well, together with my lawyers, Larry Klayman and David Gray, I filed a $350 million civil lawsuit against Mueller and the CIA, the NSA. It's called Corsi v. Mueller, and it alleges prosecutorial misconduct. I want them to pay for the damage they've destroyed. I have no job right now. They destroyed all my income. I have no monthly income. We have $200,000 in legal bills.
Good grief.
This is not the way to deal with a American family that, I'm 72 years old. They had everything. They had my computers, which I volunteered. If I'd done anything on taxes, they interviewed before the grand jury my stepson, because before I was subpoenaed, he took an old desktop computer I had and he scrubbed it and gave it to my wife for her business. Well, the Mueller's prosecutors thought he was destroying evidence. It was ridiculous. I had a backup to that computer that Mueller didn't want.
You know something about this, Mr. Corsi, is that the dangdable misery of all of this is that they knew it wasn't true. They all knew it was a lie.
Obviously, they didn't indict me.
Yep,
it was big bullying.
That's it. And we can't put up with it anymore. Jerome Corsi, everybody. Dr. Jerome Corsi, New York Times best-selling author, and the new book is called Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. Sir, it's an honor to meet you, and don't be a stranger here at the Chris Salcedo Show.
Chris, great pleasure to be with you all. Be happy to come back anytime you ask, and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems or go to NewsmaxTV.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.